Welcome to. Oh no, okay, all right, I can do it again.
Sorry.
The Jiggy Show, where Jiggy people do Jiggy things.
Welcome to the Jiggy Show. I'm your host, Bob Smooth. This is episode 14. First of all, I want to say thank you for everybody that's been tuning in. You'll very appreciate it, and continue to tune in and share it and subscribe. And this is episode 14. This is a very special episode. I wanted to do this episode to show respect and my appreciation for these two women for what they do, and for serving us. They're both nurses, and today we're going to discuss and have a conversation about the coronavirus and see what's really happening from the inside. And I'm gonna let each lady introduce themselves. Ladies, how are you doing? Please tell the people who you are.
Okay, I got this one. So my name's Naya. Like he said, I'm one of the nurses here on the Jiggy Show, episode 14. And yeah, I'm thankful to be here. Thank you for having us. I'm doing great.
Oh, awesome. Our second nurse of the night.
Yes. I'm Nina, and I am a nurse as well, and I'm happy to be here also.
Thank you for being here. And both of them are nurses in the DMV area. And so I guess the conversation today is going to be specific to this area, but overall it's for the masses. So ladies, how's it been? How's life been? How's work been?
Ooh, I feel like that is such a loaded question.
Yes, let's get straight to it.
I was gonna say, first, before I even answer that, I think more so how we're doing, just like as human beings.
Mm-hmm.
At least for myself, obviously trying to stay healthy, trying to keep an open, positive outlook on all of this for sure. Work has been interesting. I think that would be the nicest way of putting it. I think I can speak for myself, but probably for a lot of other people, that there's been a lot of challenges and a lot of frustrations.
Oh, okay. We'll get straight to that. Nina, how's work been? How's life? No, how's life first? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good, but I will say I'm really tired. Exhausting, but it's making me appreciate my days off and like my time at home a lot more. So I'll take it.
Okay, dope. But okay, so like it's been hectic, it's been crazy, and I'm pretty sure you guys found out about this way before everybody else. So like, when did you guys hear about the coronavirus?
I'll be honest, I heard about it probably the tail end of December.
Okay.
I don't think that has anything, at least for me, had nothing to do with like our job profession. It just so happened to be like me being in tune with like the news and kind of figuring out like what's going on in China and not really paying attention, but enough to be like, okay, something's happening on the other side of the world.
Got you. What about you?
I actually heard about it end of January. I think I was a little late. I was traveling at that point, so I actually ended up having like a little cold at the place that I was. And I told some friends, like, yeah, I feel really sick. And they're like, the coronavirus? I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I hadn't really seen anything. So I was a little behind. Also, I haven't been watching the news that much lately. So I think that I can attribute it to that. But
okay, got you. Well, good thing you didn't have the coronavirus.
Yeah.
So, but when did you guys find out though? Like, when did you find out, and when did it? I guess your work announced it.
How about this? I might paraphrase a little bit. My work started taking it more seriously.
Oh, I didn't want to say that. I didn't.
Well, no shade. But like, because I try not to speak for everybody, but I know that like the doctors that I work with, the nurses that I work with, everybody kind of was just like, oh, it's just another virus. It's like SARS. It's like MERS. Like it'll pass.
So everybody was thinking like that.
I can't speak for everybody, at least at my place of employment. We were kind of all like, it's going to be okay. And then when you started reading, studies and actually hearing accounts of healthcare professionals, dying who are healthy with no comorbidities or like, other past medical history issues, That's when we were, I want to say like maybe end of February, March.
Oh, okay.
That's when people were kind of like, oh, this is something serious.
Okay. Was it the same for you, Nina?
Yeah, around then. It was just funny because like my supervisor had originally said, listen, I know you're hearing a lot about this virus, but realistically, it's not that serious. Like if you don't have any health problems, they're like, you don't even need to wear a mask.
Yep.
Blah, 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 blah. And turns out now, look at it. Now they're actually like, oh, maybe you should wear a mask and maybe you should wear a face shield and a gown.
Yeah, and goggles.
So,
yeah.
Okay. All right. So like, word. We're gonna get to the mask actually and all that, all the safety precautions. So like you found out your jobs are starting to take it serious, and when did you guys start seeing like cases start popping up? And like when you saw those cases, how did that make you feel? As people,
honestly, I can't bet money to it. I feel like the real like issues started happening March. I feel like February we were still dealing with flu season. So I won't say I have a theory, but there's a theory out there that a lot of those negative flu tests that we were seeing may have been or could have been COVID-19 cases, just because at that time we were still, technically, we're still dealing with flu. So I would want to say March. That's probably when we first saw at least our first couple of cases, and we figured it out like this isn't flu.
Okay. Nina?
I'd say the same, maybe like towards beginning mid-March, I think. And they were trying to rule out everything before they decided it was COVID. So whenever a patient came in with a coughing and shortness of breath, they would have, like the CDC would actually regulate before. Now I don't know if it's the same, but they would be saying, do every type of test for a respiratory panel to determine if it's anything. And then we'll test them for COVID. That's what they were doing. Now we're a little more lenient. Now we're willing to just test people when they come in with the cough and shortness of breath. But before they were like, it could be something else. It could be a cold. But the problem is if they did come back with that cold, they wouldn't test them for COVID because they would say, no, it's just the cold that's causing these symptoms, which they could have both. But what?
Okay, so that's interesting though. So like then like how do you like I guess we're gonna have to get a little technical, but like how do you guys know the difference if it's flu or obviously there's two different tests clearly, but besides that, like how, like, because you guys mentioned earlier it could have been the flu, but it may have been corona. So like how can you tell the difference? I guess if you don't take the test, I don't know.
Goodness, I feel like not to be all sciencey, because it's like even with the flu, you can test negative in the early stages if your viral load is low, and literally come back and it actually happens.
What does that mean? What is a viral load? Sorry.
So
what is a viral
if
load?
we had to water it down, I guess, and let me know does it make sense. That's why we're tag teaming here. If basically like say the virus it hasn't replicated enough to be detected.
Gotcha.
I think that would be the best way of explaining it.
So like have it in your body, but the test isn't going to pick it up. Not yet.
Exactly. And so this happened to me where I had fever, chills, body aches in January, and I'm like, oh God, I've got the flu, or I have a kidney infection, one or the other. And I get the flu test, I'm negative. And I was like, what? Oh my gosh, I have a kidney infection, clearly. Literally within 24 hours, I go back, get retested, and I tested positive for flu. So essentially, the issue is the symptoms look so much alike. Like it could be pneumonia with a cough, shortness of breath. If you have asthma, like there's so many issues that you have to rule out first before you're able to be like, let's do the COVID-19 testing. And like Nina was saying, like you literally have to test for everything, at least in the beginning stages we did, just to be able to say, it's not pneumonia, it's not the flu, it's not strep, it's not, this, that, and the third. What else do we have left? Let's test them for this. Okay, got you.
Yeah, just a process. That sounds like a process.
Oh yes. Yeah. For sure. And I think it was easier then because everyone had symptoms, and now we're in a situation where there are people who don't have symptoms and still have COVID-19. So it's like,
exactly. In situations like that, when people don't have symptoms and they do have it, but Like, what do you do about that? Like, what does that mean when somebody doesn't have symptoms but they still have it? Are there like most like what does that mean? If you're in
that means you need a social distance.
Okay, all right.
And quarantine.
Because they're not going to come into the hospital if they have no symptoms. So if you think that you're fine and you don't have any symptoms, but you're out among people, possibly spreading it, that's where the problem is.
And wear a mask. Everybody should just be wearing masks in public. Just wear a mask.
Okay, so speaking of the mask, I was gonna get to that later. So I've been hearing like many things about these masks. Masks don't work. These micros are too small. Like none of these masks. Like so, like what's up with the masks? Do they actually work, or what type of mask should people really be using? And like like what's going on? And do gloves work? Because I heard that too.
I feel like we should talk about the gloves first.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about the gloves.
The issue that I have with gloves is that everyone, let's just say in the grocery store, are wearing gloves, right? We are literally touching everything as if it was your hand. And then you go and touch your face with that same glove. You go and touch your cell phone with that same glove. You take your mask off and you put your lip gloss or you touch something with your lip. You have now contaminated and cross-contaminated everything with which you're trying to protect yourself with. So essentially, I try to explain to people how I would wear gloves as a nurse. I wash my hands or scrub in with Purell or whatever, put some gloves on. If I touch a patient, after I'm done, those gloves go in the trash. I'm not wearing those gloves to, the bathroom. I'm not going to Nina to visit her at the ICU and with my gloves on. So when people are using the same glove in their house, in the car, you're not doing anything but spreading bacteria and possible virus.
So you got to have like an unlimited stack of gloves with you.
Or just wash your hands with soap and water.
Don't touch your face, nose, mouth.
Wipe down your car. Wipe down your steering wheel. Wipe down high surface areas that you're touching.
Gotcha.
Especially your phone. People touch their phones all the time and they don't realize it. So you come home, you wash your hands, but then you pick your phone up again. You were just touching your phone with your dirty hands. So
gotcha.
That in
and
mind.
Same with glasses too. I have to remind myself to like wipe down my glasses every couple of
you
hours.
Nerds out there. All you nerds out there, wash your hands before you put your glasses on.
And wash your glasses too.
Yeah.
Get some alcohol. Yes.
Word. All right, so like let's talk about these masks though. Like what's up with these masks? How can we all be safe? What's the best mask to buy? Ladies?
When you're in the ICU with Nina with those N95s. Yeah. Those are the best masks.
Yeah, why are those the best though?
Oh, because I'll let Nina talk about that.
No, I mean, if you want to, but basically so those surgical masks that you see on like TV shows and stuff, there's still air that can get through on the sides. And basically that it's tough to say because I feel like the CDC kind of changes if a mask is good or not, like every other day. So it's hard to see what exactly is credible. However, if we have a patient in the ICU that's on droplet precautions, meaning they have like a cold or something, then we usually just wear that surgical mask.
Gotcha.
If the patient has COVID, even if it is not airborne, we still put on the N95 for protection. We put the same one on for the entire day, but that's just to conserve supplies now. But basically the N95, that can even filter out, that can prevent like even air particles from going in. The problem is people are getting these N95s that aren't fit for their faces. Like if you're a hospital provider or you just work in the hospital at all, you get tested for these special masks. Gotcha. But if you are just buying an N95 because you hear it's important to use, if it's not sealed around your face, it's useless. Gotcha. So a lot of people, that's like kind of the big thing too. And it's unfortunate that masks are so expensive now because people are buying these masks that might not even be providing any type of safety. But I guess something is better than nothing.
Nothing.
I'll leave that there.
and to piggyback off of what Nina said, what people don't realize is between the blue surgical mask and the N95 is we're talking size of droplets. We're talking size of particles. So like that surgical mask is only covering a certain, I don't know the millimeter. I'm not an expert, but
so they come in different sizes.
No. What I'm saying is they're protecting you from different sizes of like saliva in the air or like fluid in the air. So like that surgical mask, it's more porous, meaning there's holes, there's threads. Whereas that N95, like Nina was saying, it's fit tested, as we call it, to your face. And for example, I was fit tested, and then literally months later, mine doesn't fit. So I had to wear that spacesuit like thing that we call
I wear that. I love it.
I love it. It's like, it's better than, I don't care what anybody tells me, but basically it's like a spacesuit. It has a helmet. It's like a helmet. It has a tubing that goes to like the little filter. It's like a little jetpack. It's really cute.
Where can I buy one?
I don't think regular
I'll send you a picture of me in it, Kenny. It's not cute.
I was gonna say, I don't think regular people can buy it, but like the whole purpose is like when we tell people do not buy N95s, granted you can buy it at Home Depot, but if it's not fitted to your face, you're probably breathing in and out just as much as you were without the mask, honestly, because at this point, you're really not supposed to be wearing, I mean, in theory, you're not supposed to be wearing this mask more than like 20 minutes anyway at a time. But, you know, given the circumstances, what we're doing in this climate, we're having to wear our masks all shit.
The whole day.
Got you. Got you. Okay, so this, like, everybody that's tuning into the Jiggy Show, this is like a free idea after what Naya just said. Like, whoever, somebody should come up with some type of company so where they can measure people's faces and they can create N95s. So whoever comes up with that, let me get a percentage. But okay, going to Nina's point, Nina pointed out the CDC. Why, since information keeps changing, yes, I know it's limited information. We don't really know everything about COVID-19. We don't have all the facts. Why should we fucking trust the CDC?
I mean, I feel like that's saying just about anything. Like, why should you trust the government?
I don't.
which is fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I think with that being said, I think we should all be able to discern information. And I think that's the hardest part of just not even in America, just worldwide. People will go to Google immediately, whatever the first link it is, it's like that is fact or it's fiction. I think we have an issue with a lot of people aren't scientific and even like kind of like generic. You don't have to be, you know, super sciencey, but I think I can speak for a lot of healthcare workers. Our patients don't have even the fundamental understanding of nursing and medicine. So the issue becomes, you know, oh, I've got a cold. They go to Medscape. Medscape says you have some killer cancer. And it's like, I'm dying. And it's like, actually, if you read what it said, you know. So I think if you're coming from, not to say like it's bad, but if people don't understand what they're reading, they're not going to believe what they're being told, which is fair. You know, we're taught to always question. But like for the CDC, for me, there's some things that I'm like, I don't agree with the whole bandana thing because, you know, I work in healthcare. So it's like, if I was supposed to wear a bandana back when I was in nursing school and now I'm wearing a bandana, I'd believe you. But you always tell me, and, you know, JCO, the governing body, is always like, you can't have, you know. So now it's like, no, I don't like that one. Yeah. But when I go to read a study and I'm looking at the statistics and I'm looking at the sample sizes and I'm like, wow, okay, like this is something that's serious. This is something that we need to all be paying attention to. I think the CDC is just a good resource. We don't have to necessarily always agree, but I think that they're working in our best interest. Got you.
I think y'all are the better resources, but that's why you guys are here.
Disclaimer, I am not an expert in COVID-19. I am not speaking for the behalf of my employer. Right?
No, you guys.
My opinion.
You guys are expert, and because you guys deal with it on a daily basis. So getting to the expertise on COVID-19.
Well, that's Nina's. Nina's the expert.
No, that's all you, girl.
Get into that. Like, what are some fun facts, or let's call these Jiggy Facts of COVID-19 that we should all know? And like, no matter what, no matter the age, no matter the gender, no matter whatever the case may be, we should all know these facts in order to keep safe.
I feel like we should start with the generic first and work our way up.
Okay.
So I will start off with my first generic. At this point in the population, we should just assume if you don't have it and if you do have it and you're symptomatic, cool. But we're kind of looking at it from the population sense that pretty much that we could all have it at some point.
Yeah.
And so with that information and that knowledge, you should be, like Nina said, social distancing. If you have elderly or, you know, young people around you, you know, try to limit your contact, wear the mask, wash your hands with soap, please. Not just washing your hands with soap. Don't rely on Purell. that is supposed to be only a quick fix before you get to go wash your hands with soap and water. And just maintaining, healthy regimens that you should have been doing prior. Like, I don't know. I can't even think of like what you should have been doing, like washing your body. I don't know. But I think that's really important I think we have a group of people probably worldwide who think, oh, I don't have that. I'll never get it. And it's like,
it's
you
ignorant.
don't know.
It's ignorant. No, that mentality is very ignorant. It's like,
and I think it can be a little dangerous because then that's when, people go, oh, I'm fine. And then they're come into contact with somebody and then they go see their grandmother. So I think at this point we should just, even if you don't have it, just operate in the fact that you may have it so you don't pass it on.
Okay. That's
my first generic one.
Of very detailed generic one. Nina,
sorry.
What are some fun facts in order to keep alive through COVID-19?
See, it's tough because like the only thing I can really say is just wash your hands and like, because at this point the virus, we're finding out new things like every couple of days. I feel like I hear something new. Like I heard before it only lasts on some services for like 6 hours, and then I heard after that, the cruise ship that had a bunch of those COVID cases and how everyone got off the ship finally, apparently 17 days after everyone got off that ship, they found COVID on some of the surfaces still. 17 days, whereas we're learning, 6 hours, 10 hours.
Gotcha.
So, like, there's no facts that I could confidently say about COVID other than wash your hands, social distance, the stuff you've already heard, because I don't know enough myself, because I don't even think scientists 100% know.
Yeah, we don't know.
It's new. It's too new. This strain is too new. So
and take your symptoms seriously. I think that's another thing. At least where I work, people are like, oh, it's just a cold. And I'm like, no, this is beyond a cold. Like if you're your body best. If you went from this is just allergies to I can't breathe, all of a sudden I'm spiking fevers, I can't explain this nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. Take that seriously. Go get looked out. It won't it won't kill you to go see a doctor, or because in this day and age, people have been lying. At least at my job, and I've had a lot of people who have just been in denial because they've been so scared by the news and what's been put out that it's like it can't be COVID. So trust your body.
Okay. I mean, that's a great point too, because I heard the other side of that people were coming in just for flus and little things where it's blocking traffic from the patients that are actually dealing with something that might kill them type of thing. So, like, how is that? Like, do you guys experience a lot of people, oh, like, I need to go see that? Yeah.
I mean, I literally had someone come in saying she had a hair stuck in the back of her throat for 3 days. And I'm like, what?
Wait,
stay
what?
home.
Wait,
stay home. Just stay home. I will say this. It may be different for Nina. For where the location and the setting that I work in, we're getting a lot of anxiety. We're diagnosing a lot of anxiety. What people think they're having palpitations and what would look like a heart attack. It's actually just stress and anxiety. So people don't know. Like I said, because of the fear of the news and the internet, it's like, wait a second, I'm coughing. Is that a cough? Is that a COVID cough? Or I can't breathe. Is that my asthma? Or is that COVID asthma? Like they're not able to discern the little bit of information that we're given because one, I feel like with the news outlets, they're not really giving the big picture. Like they'll hone in on a couple of symptoms and it's like, let's scare the general public. So now nobody wants to take, prednisone, which is, a steroid. But it's like, if you're only taking it for a short period of time, it's okay to take it. But all people hear from the news is if you take prednisone, you can get COVID. And it's like, give them the whole picture. Give them the whole picture, please.
Oh, true. That's a great, but the news is trash. I was trying to get to that. I'm not even trying to get that deep, but yeah, the news is trash. Word. All right. So like, word. So social distance works because there's people out here like, you know what, man, you got me messed up. I'm not coming. I'm not staying inside the house. I need to be out in these streets. I need to move. I need to be able to work out. I need to be able to just get my mind, go get some fresh air, just like live. And I don't want to be isolated. I don't want to be locked up. But according to you guys, social distancing does work.
I mean, not according to me, according to the science.
Okay.
Like,
according to the numbers, the numbers prove it.
Right? Like, we're not
literally,
but
we're
I mean,
not scientists.
But even that, even like this whole social distancing, that did become a thing because of COVID. Social distancing has happened and has been used previously.
Yeah.
And so I think too, just going back to people hearing what they want to hear and not getting the full picture. So like at least in Maryland, the governor, you're allowed to work out. You're allowed to go outside. Their whole thing is don't gather. And so I've heard patients who are like, I'm not going outside because he said we can't go outside. They're going to give us a fine. And it's like, no, you can go outside, but you don't need you and your cousins having a grill party of 20 people on Easter Sunday.
Yeah. 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 Nina?
Yes.
So are we advising social distancing?
You said what?
Are we advising social distancing?
I would advise it only because of science.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's just my opinion. Everything I'm saying is my opinion.
Exactly.
Okay. So the people that are watching it, you're at home and you're tripping, like stay inside the house, please. Keep all of us safe. Okay, now back to you guys. Back to the nurses. So like I've seen videos online of certain hospitals or certain urgent cares or whatever the case may be, and they don't have enough equipment to keep the nurses safe. And I mean, obviously, you guys go in, obviously, I guess, like literally not being dramatic or anything, putting your life on the line type of thing. So like knowing that there's limited resources and equipment, did you guys ever get like, yo, like I'm scared for myself type of thing? Like, do you ever get to that point, even though this is your occupation and this is you're like, you know, this is what you do? So
the hospital I'm at now, we've run out of one type of N95 mask, but we still have, for last I heard, we still have the other types for the most part, but I know it's obviously a limited supply just because there's such high demand. And I'm happy and blessed to say that we still have like protective gear for the most part. So I haven't necessarily gotten to the point where I'm like, I am terrified for my life. But at the same time, I know in the ICU, like I'm probably seeing the worst of it. But when I see certain patients that had no lung issues in the past that are now on this vent and can't come off this vent and their pneumonia is so bad and they can't breathe and it's really surreal and it's hard to describe unless you're there seeing it and you're seeing them not get better. So
damn.
I think when it's at that point, I've actually talked to other nurses with me and we're like, this is insane. Like, this is scary. Yeah. And I think when it's right there in front of you like that, that's when it kind of hits me a bit more.
Damn.
But I think for me, it's more so trying not to let the hypochondriac or the paranoia kick in. I'm in a different healthcare setting, so more so like the urgent care setting. And we see so many people on a like day-to-day basis. Like there be times we see like 160 in a day. So when you're coming into contact with people where you're like, this is making me feel like this is all the right sign. No, seriously, like I mean,
it's not funny, but yeah.
No,
I didn't mean to laugh.
I mean, it is like nurses have dark humor. It's fine. I can take it. But no, when you're sitting there going like, these are all the signs and symptoms. We've ruled out everything, and it's not looking so good. I wouldn't say every contact that I've had with a COVID-19 patient, I felt like my life was at risk. It's when you play everything back after, like, did I make sure that there was a good seal on my mask? You know, did I, wash my hands appropriately for a long period of time? It's like, that's when you don't want the paranoia to kick in, because even though we've been doing this for X amount of years, forever, that's when it's like, this matters the most.
Damn,
and
so anxiety still kicks in.
Oh, for sure. Because then you go home and you wake up the next day and you have a headache, and it's like, what's this headache? Why do I have no, but seriously, or like, why does my throat feel like that? And then you're like, Maya, don't be like your patients. But it's real. I'm still human. So I'm like, well, I did come into contact with, X, Y, and Z. and then 2 hours later it goes away. So you're like, okay, just relax. Just relax.
Hey man, you guys are brave. You guys are
human.
brave. Yeah, no, you guys are brave.
Human.
I'm gonna give you a little round of applause right now.
Aww.
You deserve it. You deserve it. Thank you for your services. So like seeing all these people and like if this is, please don't reveal too much information if you can't legally, but seeing people experience COVID-19 and like I wanted to get like kind of some type of like number of how many people you guys see on a daily basis, but I know you probably can't give that out.
I can say, well, it depends because we have like a COVID unit now at the hospital.
Okay.
So it depends on if they put me there or not. But normally they don't put more than like, if they're really high intensity ICU and it's just me, they usually don't do like more than 2 or 3, just because if they're vented and all that, it's a lot with that. But lately I've been training non-ICU nurses to come help me in the ICU. So sometimes I'll have up to 4. It just depends.
Got you. Not what about you?
Because I'm in a different setting, I don't know the number for where I like work just at like my one location. And I don't want to give a wrong number either. So I'll hold off only because I know the number is more than double digit, but that's over multiple of the facilities that I work at, not just mine.
Oh, I didn't mean total. I just meant that I have as my own patients.
Oh, got you.
Oh, sorry.
Were you asking total?
I mean, both.
Yeah, I thought,
both.
Okay.
Both.
Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, you're fine.
I don't know either because it changes, because I thought there was like only single digits at one point, and then they're like, oh no, Nina, it's double digits. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize. So it just fluctuates because some people can go home.
Yep.
But then we also get the people that are rapidly declining, like coming in. So.
Okay.
And I hate to say it, but the what is it called? The health department. No shade on them. Just shouting out Montgomery Health Department before I say this. They're overwhelmed, obviously, but because they're overwhelmed, it's very hard to update all of the medical facilities on, hey, by the way, 2 weeks ago, that person that you saw, they're positive now. So I'm sure that just because, like Nina was saying, there's literally change every day, if not every second. So it's like to keep up. And unfortunately, we don't have a healthcare system set up to where we can all communicate with one another effectively and efficiently. So like I couldn't even tell you how many people I come into contact with in a day because it's usually later, just because the test right now takes between what they're telling us 5 to 7 days before they get a response. So by that time you get a response, patients might be with Nina on a ventilator or they might be home chilling. So we don't ever know until we call or someone calls us like, hey, or unfortunately they pass away. So it's never a quick turnaround time for us to know who has it and who doesn't. Got you.
All right, so like let's get to the serious point of this, like because some people do believe in it, some people don't. Some people think it's a hype, like. Oops. But no, like some people don't.
Real.
No, so yeah, exactly.
Come work my job. Come look at my feet after working 14 hours.
Come take a look. Come look at this. Look at these X-rays. Look at these people.
Yes.
Look at what they're doing.
Exactly. So like to paint a picture that is so real, and if you guys if you're allowed to do this and you're allowed to say it, like how many people are dying, bro?
Oh, that number, I'd be lying to you. I know we're in the millions for cases positive. How many people have died in America?
No, not even in America. People that you guys see, like, yo, shit is actually real. Like, yeah, like forget the rest of the country. I'll be honest. Focus on you guys.
Blessings, all of my patients, I have been able to get them to the hospital. Nobody has died. Knock on some wood, because I don't need that in my.
Yeah, they'll just pass the hospital that I'm at. Yeah, she can pass them on to me. I actually can't give you a number because I don't know. I just know of like the handfuls that I've been around that I've had as my patients, and then like a couple days later I'll come in and then they'll be like, yeah, they passed. So can't give you a number, but I will say that just the virus itself just presents differently in everyone, because I've had couples, this one married couple came in, and both of them tested positive. The wife actually had strep throat as well on top of COVID. They were both hospitalized. The wife got better, went home. The husband got progressively worse. He actually became vented. He was on the vent for 2 weeks and he passed. And they both got it at the same time. They were traveling, and it's just kind of surreal because they both probably had the same strain, right? Maybe not. I don't know. And it just affected the body differently. Another case, father and daughter. Daughter is like 25, so she wasn't that young. And they both came in positive. Daughter went home, just, was okay, just a little bit sick, but she was fine. Dad ended up dying. So it's just, take it seriously, just because like it might not affect you. You could get COVID and you could be fine. You could just, treat it as if it was a little cold and move forward with your life. But then there's also people that could be your family members, your friends, that their body doesn't take to it as well as yours did, and it could end up being fatal.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Oh no, for sure, it's
that's
real.
Crazy. That's crazy. Everybody that's listening to this, man, like, there's people dying, bro. That's crazy. I couldn't even imagine going to the hospital with somebody personal that I know. Me leaving and then passing. That's too much.
The worst is that if you're a COVID patient, you can't have visitors.
Yeah. Nope.
So these people are dying alone or with their nurse, because you can't have these visitors that have been in the house with them possibly spreading COVID around the hospital.
And that's when that paranoia that I had earlier, because it's like, if you're going to have it, you're going to have it by yourself, essentially. There is not going to be anybody in there holding your hand with you. I mean, the nurses, obviously, but family can't come.
I had this one patient, she was on her way out, and I actually had to hold the phone up to her ear so her husband can say his last words to her.
Oh my God.
When you're there experiencing that, seeing that firsthand, nothing makes it more real. Nothing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
Just think about that. Like, it's crazy. Just like put yourself in those people's shoes.
So that's why when people think this is not real, there was a virologist who has not a theory, but kind of like an inkling to what he thinks is going on with the virus. Not to get too science heavy, because I'm not trying to confuse nobody, but basically what he was saying was that how the virus enters the body through what we call the ACE2 protein, which kind of regulates the blood pressure in the body. So all these people who don't think it's real and they're all walkie-talkie fine, he was saying that it could take up to 30 days, a full month, before you could actually start showing signs and symptoms. So in those 30 days, the virus isn't just like chilling like Coachella, like everything's great, kicking it. No, the virus is working overtime in those 30 days. So when you're cool in it and not wanting to believe this and not listening to Naya and Nina about washing your hands and social distancing, you don't, and that's what we're saying, just operate as if you've got it.
Facts.
Because
that's
you
how
don't
I'm
know
moving.
when things are going to pop up. Not to scare anyone either. Obviously, live your life. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But with the understanding that just because you're young doesn't mean you can't get it. Just because you don't have any health problems.
Knuckleheads.
Just because you don't have any health. Exactly. You don't have any health issues. A lot of people don't realize this too. That is very subjective. When someone goes, oh, I'm healthy, I'm good. Unless you have gotten some blood drawn, you have gotten evaluated by a provider, you don't know what's going on with your kidneys. You don't know what's going on with your heart. And I think that's another thing that people don't realize when they're like, oh, all these young people dying is so bizarre. And it's like, come to find out, they had uncontrolled blood pressure. They had underlying diabetes. They had, something regarding obesity. And it's like, actually, they weren't healthy. They were just saying they were healthy. So take it seriously. And that's why I always tell people, go to the doctor. Get your annual checkup. Sorry, I'm going on a rant. Sorry.
No, we're listening. We're here for it.
No, I'm not going to lie, though. I hate the doctor, to be honest. I hate it. I
do too.
I hate it.
Same. And nurses are the worst.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I just
what we're saying is we don't go. At least I mean,
got you.
we're the worst patients.
Oh, I mean, do you just? I mean, you guys can technically diagnose yourself, I guess. Maybe not. I'm not advising that. I didn't say that.
I think I'm dying all the time, so it's fine.
Yeah.
All right. So, like, what's up with these limited tests, though? I'm hearing some people are getting denied being tested. Like, that's crazy.
So where I'm at, the issue, to kind of take a step back from hyper focus, it's not that people are just saying, sorry, I don't want to treat you, I'm denying you healthcare. It gets to the point, if we don't have enough supply, it has to become like when you go to the ER where they triage you. Who is more important? And I hate to say it like that, but that's how you get triaged.
How do you measure that?
I mean, we have a scale for it, but essentially, at least in my area where I work, the surrounding hospitals, basically they're saying if you are not sick enough to be hospitalized, you're not sick enough to be tested, which can sound really deplorable to someone who needs or wants to get the testing done. But if you only have 5 tests and there's 500 people who come in, and only maybe less than 60 of those people legitimately may or may not, depending on how they present, need the testing, you have to kind of pick and choose how you're going to do that.
Damn.
Do I agree with it? That's a whole nother conversation. I wish we had more tests for sure, because why is it just here that we're struggling to get tests and that's another thing, how we were testing and the numbers that we're testing compared to like South Korea, when they were testing thousands per, I believe, 100,000, whereas we were testing at one point, I think in March, it was like maybe 20 to 50 per 1,000. It just didn't equate. We just didn't have the resources. But essentially, that's what it comes down to, like the necessity, who really needs this test and who can go home and quarantine for 14 days. Wow. And that's, at least in my area, that's how that came down to it.
How is it in Fairfax?
It's the same thing. They were just saying, so if someone came in and they had no health history, blood work looks good, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, yeah, I just have like this cough and like a low fever, whatever. They'll say, just go home. Because, it is a limited number of tests. I'm actually not sure right now how the tests are looking. I heard that they've made more, but I don't know. So, but I know before, last I heard in the ER, they were saying, if someone's like healthy enough, they can just go home and quarantine and treat it. Cause it's a virus at the end of the day. So you kind of just treat the symptoms.
So
that was the same for us.
Okay. Word. What is there like, I know like, I feel like hospitals should have supplies. I don't get why. Like
ding 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 ding.
Who makes these tests and why is it such a short? I'm not like you said. Like China had a stupid amount of people getting tested. So like, what is going on?
I'll give a quick generic answer.
Don't get yourself in trouble now.
Oh no, that's why I'm giving generic answers. Unfortunately, and I like to give bigger picture concepts because it's just easier. It all boils down to has nothing to do with politics, just FYI. But just unfortunately, when the funding for our healthcare department, or not, what is it, the Health and Human Services, when funding came from that takes away from being prepared. When you start pulling from how to fund the one thing that's supposed to get people ready, looking into research and how we can prepare our country, that then when something happens, we can't be prepared if we don't have the funds and the money. Again, nothing political, but just we can't be prepared for something, one, that hasn't happened, even though we've seen something like this multiple times in the past. But you can't have a COVID-19 test if COVID-19's ever existed. That's why we call it a novel, coronavirus. It's new. We've never seen it. So I can't be mad at that because it's new. It's a learning curve. Hopefully if this ever happens again, knock on wood, it doesn't, we'll be ready for that. But the only way to be prepared is to get prepared. And we weren't prepared for it. I don't think many countries were, but those that were set in place like Finland and New Zealand, who were very strict on how they were going to handle this, that's how you then are able to allocate funds and allocate resources to then help your communities.
Got you.
Again, not political.
Nina, do you have anything to piggyback off that?
No, she covered it.
Yeah, she nailed it. Word.
No.
Word. Not to get political again.
No, because
it
I mean,
makes sense.
every administration, there's something always.
Yeah.
It's not, like I said, it's just if you're not actively preparing for the worst. I mean, who really can be ever prepared all the time? It's just we weren't prepared. That's all.
Okay. Word. I mean, ladies, again, thank you for this moment, this time right now, of getting everybody educated and informed on what's really going on and how to move accordingly. But before we cut off and before we end this episode, so your president has been talking about, not to get political. I didn't even see
you
that
said
just
you said your president. I heard that.
See, that also like just my bad. So Mr. Trump, Donald Trump, wants to get the country active again by May 1st. From you guys that have to deal with patients, you guys are in there. You guys are living this life. And again, thank you. What do you guys' opinion on that? Like, what do you guys think? Is that smart? Like, is this thing been contained enough in order for people to really be active like that?
I'll just say this. My mother brought it up to me, and my response was, stay your behind at home. until your governor or your mayor has let you know what the peak levels of this and when it's going to flatten out and plateau. Because it's one thing to be optimistic, which I can't be mad at him for that. Obviously the country's tired of being scared. Do I think we're ready? I can't say if it's smart or not. I'm not him. I'm sure making these decisions are very hard.
I mean, you would have more knowledge than him, so like I would take your. I would take. Nothing against Trump. Nothing against Trump.
No. But what I'm saying,
let me just say this.
But you have to realize too, he's got to work with 50 states. That's 50 different people who are having to figure out what's best for their states. So that's why I said I can't.
And all those 50 people, I will still listen to you though. To be honest, because you're there.
I appreciate that.
You're there, bro.
But what I can say is each state one is different. And I think that's why it's important for people to listen to their governing bodies. I mean, Trump is obviously our president, but listen to your people because, for example, Mayor Bowser for DC, she told people about, I think it was a week and a half to 2 weeks ago, their peak was going to be mid-June. Now, why she only extended the stay-at-home order until May 30th is beyond me, but the only thing I could think of was the general public cannot handle someone going and saying, hey, we're going to be dealing with this for 6 months.
Oh, so they're giving people a period of times. They're going to keep extending it. I got you.
Because we haven't reached our peak.
Yeah.
And when we do, I think that's when we can start making better decisions on the future. But until we hit those peaks, to say May 1st, I think that's very admirable. Mm-hmm. But I don't think each state has made it to, at least maybe New York, because they've been going through it. Maybe Washington State, because they've also been going through it in California. But for like example, I believe it's Wyoming. They were the last state for real to actually experience some issues and starting to see COVID-19. Whereas, California, New York, New Orleans, they were already dealing with it.
Yeah, they've been at it.
So I will still be going to work on May 1st. I'll still be social distancing May
1st. Nina, for you, your question will be realistically from what you think, when would be appropriate time that you project of us coming out and being social?
You gave her the hard question. Good Lord.
I would love to be able to answer that, but I can't. And I will say, even when they do let us out of this quarantine, I'm still probably not gonna be going out, because you hear about these people that recovered are now testing positive again.
Exactly.
Nah, I'm good.
Damn. So
I can't answer that.
And not to mention, China had a second wave. They had a whole second wave after they let people out. So y'all can go out if you want to.
Yeah, but I don't need all that. I gotta stay healthy.
Okay. So like the whole so everybody's inside for like the next 2 years, maybe, until there's a vaccine.
I mean, per the FDA and the projected journal articles that they're coming out with their models, they're saying 2021. So, I mean, I'm not going to lie. My job had already told me, they already told us 6 months from now. They were like, and I was like 6 months from December? Because I can't do 6 months from March. So, I mean, the articles are the articles. I mean, granted, it was just a model, so it's nothing that's hard set in stone, but that's what the projections are if we keep going the way we're going.
Fluctuating too. So let's not speak anything into existence.
Oh no, never that.
Energy flows. Energy flows. Oh, word. Damn. Word. So we should just dead the whole year. Hey, everybody stay home. You're not going anywhere. You're not going to see your friends.
I mean, I'm hoping for a good, strong August. I'm hoping August is cute and pretty. You know, that's just the nurse in me. Will that happen? I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, ladies, again, thank you so much for putting your life in the line, and everybody that tunes into the Jiggy Show. Even if you're not a healthcare worker, but you may know somebody that is. And on behalf of me and everybody else that tunes in, we want to say thank you, and we appreciate everything that you guys do. And please stay safe and take this seriously, people, because these ladies clearly got to deal on a daily basis. So if you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for them at least. And ladies, again, thank you so much. This is the portion of the podcast where we give our social media, and so people can like slide in your DMs and go crazy. And I can't speak for my people, and I'm gonna tell them to act accordingly. Act accordingly, people. But yeah, ladies, please give out your social media so people can, bother you on 24/7.
First and foremost, before I say anything, I do not give out free medical advice. So if you're
hilarious,
anything, I'm just letting you know on my license and the governing board that be, I'm not giving any medical advice. But if you want to follow me just for some cute content, it's undeniable. I'm not going to spell it. You can figure it out.
It's hilarious. Please follow that. People. Follow that. Nina, your turn.
Exactly what she said. Medical advice. I am not one to ask medical advice. Ask your doctors, people. I don't know anything. Yep,
exactly.
It's fine. And I don't think my content is as cute as Naya's, but if you want to follow, at Nina Ganj. I'm not spelling it. You can
figure it out.
No, it'll be written, I guess. Ladies, again, thank you so much. And
thank you for having us.
Yes, and please stay safe in these streets. Protect yourselves, and tell your fellow nurses to tune in. Also, this is for you guys. And thank you. That's all I really have to say. Just thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks.
All the doctors out there, everybody putting their life on the line. We appreciate you.
For sure.
And you guys deserve to get paid more. There needs to be a pay raise going on.
Look, not just a pay raise, pay off these
donations.
Give me some more PTO.
Yeah. Oh yeah. At least that facts. So like every organization, every like hospital, whatever. I don't even know how all that works. But like at least excuse their loans, their student loans, man. The medical school loans. Excuse them. Do something for these ladies. But yes, thank you. And that is episode 14 of the Jiggy Show. Please subscribe, and we out.